welcome everybody to the Daily Space Weather. Smasho here, coming at you from the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. And we've got lots of interesting activity going on here, a CME happening as we stream the video from the southwestern limb of the closest star, as we bring you just the most detailed imagery you'll find anywhere in the known universe. As far as space weather and detailed imagery of the sun, there you have it. Part of the Ansi Griffin filament there, making its way out into the greater solar system. So just spectacular imagery there. Let's switch to 304 angstroms from that same viewpoint. Huge filament eruption happening there. We'll let you know later in the video if we expect that CME to be earthly directed or not. Some of the plasma has certainly left the sun. Here's the northern hemisphere back to 171 angstroms for you. And let's don't forget to show the southern hemisphere. Lots of filaments hanging out down there in the southwest even still. They have not all ejected. The likelihood of additional coronal mass ejections remains high. We've got an elevated solar wind speed from a coronal hole high-speed wind stream. And lots more to show you in terms of meteorology stuff. Here are sunspots for the past, well, that's yesterday plus today. A little bit of growth in this sunspot group right here. I believe it's 3171. We'll talk about sunspot numbers later. There is your SDO colorized magnetogram. And let's briefly talk about volcanoes. If you're wondering what's erupting, so am I. So here's the breakdown. Stromboli continues to erupt. A short lava flow. It seems to have decreased its advance there on Stromboli. Shivaluch continues to erupt, producing a 20,000-foot ash plume over Kamchatka. Semaru, Vulcanian-style eruptions there, producing a few thousand-foot tall ash plume there over East Java, Indonesia. Popocatépetl exploding in central Mexico, flight level 200. It's a 20,000-foot ash plume. Santiaguito in Guatemala here, now erupting at high level, some fresh viscous lava accumulating into the Caliente lava dome. People are advised to avoid the sticky lava flow due to the strong heat, which may cause burns and other serious injuries. Don't handle lava, folks. It could be bad. Fuego in Guatemala also exploding, flight level 190. Nevado del Ruiz exploding in Colombia, flight level 210. Sangay exploding in Ecuador, flight level 200. It's a 20,000-foot ash plume. Also Revenador producing a 16,000-foot ash plume over the same nation. 23,000-foot ash plume over Sabancaya as it also explodes in Peru. Please remember to not pole vault the caldera. Refrain from pole vaulting the caldera. There's your 90-day bar graph of seismic activity. Largest quake of the past 24 was at a very unpopulated area. We'll get to it. It was a 5.8 magnitude. Before that, we had a 5.0 in Japan. Continuing up the list here, and if we miss anything, let us know in the comments. If you felt an earthquake in the past 24 hours, let us know about that in the comments as well. And what else do we have here over a 5 magnitude? It's really been quite seismically calm here over the past 24 hours. And the largest quake of the past 24 happened not too long ago here, just a few hours ago there at the Pacific Antarctic Ridge, a very unpopulated portion of the planet. It was a 5.8. It came in at 8:39 Universal Time today on Christmas Eve. By the way, if you enjoy the content, press like, subscribe, and share. Welcome to the Neo-Renaissance. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. We built our own website back in 2019 because of pathetic, disgusting, and putrid censorship on Facebook. Yeah, we were sent to social media prison for a crime we didn't commit. If you can find the content, maybe you can hire the Smash team. You can find our links there. So help us out with clicks at smashomash.com. Thanks to everybody who's visited the homepage. You can also find links to SureMed. So do us a favor with clicks. Do yourself a favor with SureMed. It is an association membership, not insurance, although it does open you up to the purchase of group insurance benefits. So check it out. My personal link is below the video and on the homepage at smashomash.com. And let's get back to space. A frontier. These are the voyages of The Smash News Network, least busted name in news. This is the last 24 hours from SDO 171 angstroms wavelength. And let's take a look at that southwestern limb once again. We've got another slightly zoomed out. So some fantastic filamentary activity happening there. And good morning to you also, Robert. Thanks for leaving a comment on the stream. So that's the last 24 hours in the southwestern limb. You can see part of the ANSI Griffin filament, which is this huge filament right here. Part of it leaving the building. And when I say building, I mean the solar corona. The 10.7 centimeter radial flux has dropped down to 131. 131 solar flux units is the new radial flux number. So there it is in a 1-year chart to put it in context. Radial flux has been dropping here. And Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard here not forecasting any geomagnetic storms or geomagnetic unrest. I would tend to disagree with that as we have a high-speed coronal hole wind stream at the time and a strong negative BZ component. We'll talk about that here in a moment. We are expecting geomagnetic storm conditions here, especially if the current magnetic field conditions continue. We'll get to that in a moment. First, the last 4 hours of Earth's magnetic moment from space. So this is what's likely to be happening out to about 12 Earth diameters, at least as calculated by the Space Weather Modeling Framework. It is depicting magnetohydrodynamic pressure, or nanopascals. Again, there is a coronal hole high-speed wind stream buffeting Earth's magnetosphere as we stream. So here is your ground magnetic perturbations, Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. The scale here, the units here are nanotesla. It is also the last 4 hours, and you should see an increase here because we just saw the vertical component to the magnetic field swing strongly into the negative territory. So you're going to see a lot more red showing up there. If you've got auroral imagery or something like that, share it on Twitter. We are all over social media. Here is your 30-minute auroral forecast, and we do expect to see geomagnetic storm conditions. A KP5 is what I would be expecting here for the next update for the planetary K index. So this is your aurora forecast. You should expect to see this pop up a little bit here toward the end. And let's move on to the planetary K index. So we're currently at only 3.33 rather. Expecting to see a KP5 in the next update here. So in a couple of hours, we're expecting to see that update. And here's the real-time solar wind we're talking about. You see up in this top pane here, this strong negative BZ signal. The field isn't particularly strong, but the BZ signal is quite strong, although it's just recently broken here. So if that goes back to a strong negative BZ, we will see a geomagnetic storm condition. If not, I could be wrong. But anyway, maybe I jumped the gun on the forecast there. It's something you'll have to deal with. In any case, we do have an elevated coronal hole high-speed stream here at 519 kilometers per second. Solar wind density about 12.5 protons per cubic centimeter. Next, looking at magnetic data, these are your GOES magnetometers. The GOES 16 had to make some thruster adjustments to its orbit there. That's what the arc-jet moment is. Thrusters create plasma, which can affect the magnetometer readings. And let's look at the heliospheric current sheet next. So Earth just remains in a North Pole current sheet, South Pole current sheet here on the opposite side of the sun. Nothing too noteworthy happening there. And let's take a look at the line of sight plot next. There are the sun's fields, North Solar Polar Field in green, largely facing the Earth at the moment. South Solar Polar Field in red, largely facing away from the Earth. Solar B field in blue. And click the links in the description if you want to see the products. So the first products to show in the description are the Hemp Lucid products. You can find our link down there. You can also use the promo code SMASHOMASH10 to save some cash on checkout. So check it out. Hook yourself up with some sweet solutions to your daily life's issues. Shop, buy, solution, even CBD for your pets there. So check it out. Check out the Delta 8s. Let us know what you think of them, etc. There are more product reviews coming soon. Today's featured product is Smasher Price My First Pandemic. Congratulations on surviving a global pandemic so far. How's it been working out? This is a re-release, by the way. And if you've noticed the pathetic, infantile, and ridiculous response to certain things by bureaucrats who are unable to do their own jobs or get out of their own way, let us know in the comments what your experience was. Tell your friends and foes about the merch. Some of it is designed to be provocative. Some of it is designed to be humorous. Some of it is designed to start a conversation or impart words of wisdom. But in any case, once again, I would reiterate, congratulations on surviving a global pandemic so far. You've been doing a fine job, a fine job. And here's some more words of wisdom. Don't die. If you click the link below the video to the Redbubble shop, you'll find the products in order of best selling. Products depicted in this video, not necessarily reflecting the opinions of the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. We are offering things for various reasons. Give Smash staff a raise, and congratulations on surviving global democide so far. If you're not familiar with what the term means, maybe we'll have to make a video with Eugene about it a little bit later. Shout out to Eugene the Philosopher. Make sure you subscribe to his channel, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. Press the notification bell, which is no guarantee that you'll actually receive notifications. However, thanks to everybody who's been viewing the content on YouTube. Make sure you check our playlist. There is some timeless information on there as well, like our cosmology segments. Smashamash.org presents The Sun and lots more. Thanks for tolerating the pathetic censorship on the pathetic Google platform over the past pushing 6 years. And if you haven't checked out the 12 Days of Smashmas, we released some Christmas gifts, one on each of the first 12 days of December for our viewers. Now let's move back to the realm of space. What we're looking at now are coronal holes. And the ones facing the Earth here are almost entirely North Pole oriented. Some South Pole coronal holes there showing up, hanging around the South Solar Polar region. Let's take a look at that in 211 angstroms. So interestingly enough, we actually have South Pole magnetism still hanging out down here. These are South Pole oriented. These are all North Pole oriented. Let's make it a block letter. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. No, that's okay. Epic Pen, we'll wait. There you go. North Pole in the north, South Pole in the south, magnetic field reversal. Nowhere near complete yet. Lots of stuff to happen yet in solar cycle 25. We are nowhere near solar maximum. And if you think it's a grand solar minimum, I suggest you look at the facts. You see all those sunspots? Those are not what you see during a grand solar minimum. So here's our sunspot section. And 3173 got a name as forecast yesterday. And we might see another name here. Oh, we've already got 3174 back here. All right, so yeah. Anyway, sunspots have been mostly stable. We've seen some umbral growth from sunspot 3174. And let's take a look at some fantastic imagery here from SDO. There is your SDO magnetogram. Zoomed in a little bit for your viewing pleasure. And we'll switch to continuum next. There is the last 24 hours in SDO continuum. And I thought it would be just great to add 304 angstroms ionized helium. It really adds some life to the SDO continuum imagery because it looks so calm when you only look at the continuum. But there's a lot of stuff going on there. A lot of activity indeed. And we'll zoom out here to show the full disk. So most of the plasma reorientation happening down here in the southwestern limb for sure. Lots of stuff going on down there. And let's move on to energetic particles. We ain't got none. No spikes in the ghost proton flux. Flaring has been rather minimal here, despite lots of huge sunspot groups traversing the Earth-facing portion of the solar disk. X-ray flux here, kind of low. It's back to a B background range here for the past couple of days, having ramped down from nearly an M-class background range. Now we're just seeing some minor C-class intensifications. such as this C2.33 that happened a few hours ago. Here's the closest star in 94 angstroms, one of the best wavelengths of ultraviolet light to view solar flares. It takes 10 images per minute instead of only 2 images per minute. And it looks like those flares were coming from this region ahead of this sunspot here. Let's switch to 131 angstroms. The other wavelength that takes 10 images per minute instead of only 2 images per minute. And next we'll look at a star chart. So we've got the sun and moon very close to each other in the sky here as new moon falls on Christmas Eve. That's what's going on over Lehigh Valley. The sun and the moon have risen together, making it very unlikely for you to see the tiny, tiny crescent sliver moon. That's in-the-sky.org, by the way. The yellow line is the ecliptic. The blue line is the galactic plane. As Deneb rises higher and higher in the sky and temperatures drop lower and lower on the thermometer mercury. Here's the solar system forecast. Again, new moon it's going to be a dark night for Santa delivering presents. Here's where things will be in a week on December 30th. Next, we're going to look at coronagraphs, since we do have a CME propagating as we stream the video. This is yesterday's imagery. That's 106 frames from George Mason University. So that's yesterday's imagery. Here is today's imagery. And right at the end, you should see a CME happening there in the lower right. Just barely see it happening. And don't worry, we've got some more. Oh, we got a comet too. Check it out. Another comet there showing up right in here. That's what happens, folks. When you look, you'll see things. It's very interesting. Next, the view from Lagrange point 5, the location of stereo A, and Lagrange point 1, the location of Soho Lasco C3, located here on the right, stereo A here on the left. And for you new viewers, thanks for tuning in. And once again, congratulations on realizing the channel exists. From stereo A's perspective, an Earth-directed CME would have to be in the direction of that arrow. At the moment, we ain't got none. Pretty sure that CME that's happening as we stream the video will miss Earth to the southwest. However, it's not totally done leaving the corona yet. So we've got to sort of wait for that to really get a definitive answer. At the moment, my best guess is that it will be off to the southwest. Let's take a look at the 24-hour videos that we make on the regs. There you can see that coming out of the western limb there, right at the end, that little flash there. Going to be a spectacular CME for sure. And we'll zoom out a little bit more here to show a little larger view. That's the last 24 hours. Great imagery of that comet coming in. Another comet showing up. And here is a further zoomed out view. That comet certainly looking like it's breaking up there somewhere in the Lasco C2 imagery. And moving on to filaments. So we've still got a massive number of filaments on the Earth-facing portion of the solar disk. Part of the ANSI Griffin filament is still intact, so some of it has ejected, some of it has remained suspended there in the solar corona. And once again, let's bring up the latest image and name that filament. Since hardly anybody follows us on Twitter, and we get just about zero interaction on our tweets despite having over 18,000 of them. Let's head to the utterly shadow banned tech site known as Twitter and say name that filament, namely this one, or name any filament. Feel free to mark up the imagery and join us on Twitter. We've got 336 stagnating followers because guess what? Censorship is not fixed. Deboosting continues. Elon Musk has stated this, and we get to see Elon's tweets even though we don't follow Elon. It's ridiculous. It's nonsense. And censorship continues, folks. It's no better. It's just as pathetic as it was in March of 2020 on YouTube, on Facebook, on Apple, on Twitter, etc. Similarly pathetic is the censorship. It's not fixed. If you think it's fixed, you're living in a delusional fantasy world. Here's what's going on in the real world. A totally awesome CME from the southwestern limb of the closest star. And we'll be streaming it once again today on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/smashomash. How about the last 24 hours in 304 angstroms from SDO? This brings us to our bonus features segment, in which we've been showing some very interesting things going on planet Earth. So we're going to start things out with the satellite's community dashboard, as we do have some minor charging hazards here across the Pacific Ocean. Those are surface charging hazards caused by low-energy electrons on the outside of spacecraft. Let's take a look at the electron flux next. It's measured at the F layer of the ionosphere from the GOES 16 and GOES 17's radiographic measurements from their geosynchronous orbits. They're at like 22,000 miles of altitude. They're measuring the F layer's electron flux at about 300 kilometers of altitude. That's the last 3 days. Very low levels of electron flux. And we might see even lower levels here because we're seeing this late arrival of a coronal hole high-speed stream. Tomorrow's update might include the yellow diamond where my purple circle is. The green boxes are NOAA's forecast for the electron flux. As the coronal hole wind stream arrives late, there's a one-year chart to put it in context. Very, very low levels of electron flux here at the moment. And let's take a look at the F layer next, as we've been seeing some shocking anomalies in the F layer of the ionosphere. It's one slice of the atmosphere, the vibrational frequency of the F layer, located about 300 kilometers of altitude. So here is the vibrational frequency in megahertz. That's millions of vibrations per second. And massive anomalies continue here. So not only has the South Atlantic anomaly moved into the South Pacific, we're also seeing ongoing additional anomalies, mainly around South America. So they may not be obvious from this imagery. That's okay. We'll show the anomalygram as well. So here's the anomalygram. The South Atlantic anomaly is now here instead of up here. And you can clearly see it on the map, that there is that huge variation there between high and low frequency anomaly right where my pointer is located. So huge additional anomalies happening here, and we can expect more additional anomalies as the coronal hole high-speed stream continues. We'll also see anomalies in the total electron content. Huge high and low frequency anomalies there on the ionosphere. Them's the facts. Let's check out the latest image. That's 13:30 Universal Time, coming at you a little late today. And there you can see that huge low frequency anomaly over the Atlantic and a high frequency anomaly over the Eastern Pacific. So the ionosphere is quite perturbed at the moment. We'll also take a look at the total electron content forecast. It's the electrons between your GPS satellite and your handset. That is a distance of about 12,500 miles, and those free electrons can cause signal refraction, which causes GPS errors. There is the world map from Australian Government the Australian Government Bureau of Meteorology. Extremely anomalous total electron content here at the moment. And you should be able to see that with this animation as well. We've got electrons out of place. And it's not particularly surprising with the current state of affairs. The low levels of electron flux and the high-speed coronal hole wind stream. These things are certainly correlated. If you think it's causal, by all means, let us know in the comments. I mean, I'm sure there is some sort of causal effect here, but it's an issue of how Earth's magnetic field is generated in the first place. If we understood the full effects, the full causation of Earth's magnetic dynamo, we could make a little bit more definitive statements about this, but at the moment, we're relegated to correlation. So huge electron flux anomalies, huge total electron content anomalies happening here, major GPS errors over the North Atlantic, North America, and other parts of the world, even nighttime GPS errors expected to continue there. Until the coronal hole wind stream subsides, then we can expect an uptick in the electron flux and more orderly total electron contents. Next, the latest intensity gram and latest solar magnetogram. There you go. Those are sunspots and the magnetic fields. Which brings us to a cold day at the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. It'll be a cold day in hell when we start stating nonsense on the channel. So let's take a moment for station identification here. By the way, if you haven't checked out smashomash.com/SmashTeam, that is the official subscription services site of the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. So if you want to help us out with subscription services, consider becoming a member of the Smash Team. Just click posts on the Smash Team page, and you'll be delighted to find our latest videos. You click post, you log in, whether you're at the bronze level, the silver level, or the gold level, or you're a gold annual paid-up subscription member. Thanks to everybody who supported the content. You can find all of our links there, SureMed, Hemp, Lucid, all of our social media links, and so on. Our major releases also there. The GDEX reports are for gold and silver level only. Once again, thanks to the Smash Team, those who have supported the channel throughout the years, as we're paid just this side of nothing to put the most comprehensive space weather and detailed imagery of the sun in the known universe onto YouTube. Wondering where the coldest place in the world is? Well, it's central Greenland. Central Greenland, currently the coldest place in the world. There you go, 62.4 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. It's much colder than Antarctica in central Greenland. I suspect there's probably nobody there at the moment. Since temperature's the story, I figured I would briefly cover it here as an intro to our meteorology segment. And let's continue on, as it is a cold day over most of North America. Freezing cold temperatures making it all the way down to the Gulf Coast and well into Mexico there. On today, December 23rd. A little bit warmer in Australia, I would say. And let's see what's going on as far as wind. There is the surface wind scenario for the land from under. Two powerful lows here in the Southern Ocean. Also one in the Southern Indian Ocean. That one looks like it's strengthened a little bit since yesterday. It's just kind of hanging out there. It is loitering. Here is the jet stream scenario for this side of the planet. Strong concentrated jet stream over the North Pacific. Very chaotic jet stream over the Southern Indian Ocean and around Oceania. Here are the jet streams of the West. As you can see, some cold Canadian air being driven down into the central U.S. Here are the surface winds of this side of the planet. Major wind chill warnings and so on. And a windy day in the Gulf of Mexico. Strong north to south wind happening there. And here are the surface winds of the central world. Strong low off the coast of Ireland there, hanging out there for days. Here are the jet streams of the central world. And it's time to move on to check out what's going on in terms of clouds and fog. Here's the croissant Earth projected onto a spherical template. Are you still believing NASA's lies that Earth is shaped like a sphere? Well, we're here to tell you that Earth is croissant-shaped. So get with reality, folks. I mean, really. NASA, it was formed by actual Nazis, you idiots. Are you some kind of morons? What, do you think the Earth is shaped like a sphere? What, are you crazy? Everybody knows Earth's croissant-shaped. That's shortwave radiation, clouds and fog over the Americas. You see all that orange on the map there from weather.gov? Those are blizzard warnings. And all of that light blue, those are wind chill warnings. So lots of cold weather advisories there, folks. Earth, a planet that is so hot that it's cold. Now, of course, don't get weather and climate confused. I guess I'll just leave it there. We've got freeze warnings in Florida. Stock up on your orange juice now before the price gets gouged. Lots of weather warnings there. From the Rockies to the east. Also the Pacific Northwest seeing some winter weather warnings there. Some winter storm warnings, etc. If your county's lit, click your county at weather.gov. And here's your temperature anomaly forecast. It's going to be anomalously cold east of the Rockies for a few days here. So here you go. That's the GFS 72-hour temperature anomaly forecast in degrees Celsius. Let's show the raw temperature data as well. There's the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit based on the same model, the GFS 72-hour. We show it because a 72-hour forecast is known to be accurate. We don't show like 2 week forecasts because I'm not a meteorological idiot. Next, pressure and precipitation. Heavy ice expected in Oregon and Washington. I'll say it again. It's coming. In fact, it's already fallen. Please don't drive in the freezing rain. It's embarrassing. I don't want to see you on YouTube in a ditch. Anyway, that's pressure and precipitation based on the same model. Once again, the GFS 72-hour forecast. And let's take a look at the forecast from windy.com's Euro model. So here is temperature. We're going to let this slowly advance here as it is the 23rd. This will include your Christmas and day after Christmas temperature forecast. So this is the European model. We're showing temperature here in degrees Fahrenheit. There's Christmas Eve. It'll be shockingly cold in the Dakotas. And here's Christmas. And things will begin to subside there. Warming up a little bit there on December 26th. Here's where things will be at 12 noon on December 26th. Continuing on to look at lightning, we indeed did see some lightning here in South Carolina and North Carolina. Let's see if we have any terrestrial strikes at the moment. We did see some activity there around Florida. By the way, this is lightningmaps.org, and it looks like a little bit of thunder happening there just west of Key West. The Key West National Wildlife Refuge has got some thunder rolling in. Next time you hear thunder, perhaps check out lightningmaps.org. You can convince the natives that you're Thor or Zeus or something like that by forecasting thunder. Look like a villain in a horror movie by forecasting thunder. Say something dramatic just before thunder rolls in. People will think that you're demonic. Let us know in the comments if you really are demonic. Next, U.S. Doppler radar map. There are all 50 states of ALSA, the allegedly United States of America. Here are the lower 48. Quite a bit of snow swirling around the Great Lakes. Here is shortwave radiation showing clouds and fog. It's too dark over half the country to use the visible satellite, so we use the 3.9 nanometer infrared radiation. And check out the low clouds over the Gulf of Mexico. It's dreary if you're out there shrimping in the Gulf. Last but not least, there's water vapor. You can see that low is moving up toward western Pennsylvania there as cold air makes its way across the eastern part of the U.S. Here's your recap. U.S. Doppler radar. Clouds and fog. And there is the water vapor map. That should give you the most definitive information about how things are going to be moving. Thanks for tuning in. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash-O-Mash, coming at you from the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. And it is time to sign off. And may that solar wind be at your back. Facts stated in this video are not necessarily facts agreed to by big tech and other criminal organizations.